What is going on, guys? Episode 9, Heel Turns and High Spots here, bringing you guys another video. Today we'll be talking about the AEW Dynamite from yesterday. Obviously, I'm joined by my partner, Charlie. What's going on, Charlie?
Nothing too exciting, man. Dude, this card, we have a ton to talk about. Some good, some bad. A very eventful card. We knew that from the start. We had, like, what was it, 7 matches on this bad boy?
I think 7, yeah. It
Yeah.
was a banger of a night. It was an interesting night for sure. Definitely not. We definitely saw some stuff that we're not usually used to seeing with AEW.
Yeah, that is for sure. Some crossover personality traits from other companies, maybe. But yeah, we'll get into that.
We will get into that, indeed. Before we get into that, though, follow our Twitter account, guys, at HTurn and HSpots on Twitter. And we also have a TikTok account. We've been posting on our TikTok account at
Yep.
Heel Turns and High Spots over there, all lowercase. And then you can find me and Charlie's Twitter right there below our screens right there. And we would appreciate, guys, if you follow along and so you guys can always be notified when we post that content.
Yeah, and we are posting content all the time, especially on our Twitter. When Dynamite's live, we're posting. When Rampage is live, maybe not all the time, but we try. It's kind of late. But we'll definitely get the Rampage, our thoughts and opinions on it on Twitter. Obviously, if you want to keep up with us, Twitter is definitely the best sphere to do so.
Yep, and then we also have been posting our AEW Dynamite and Rampage reviews over on TikTok as well. A little recap
Yep.
for you guys, and then we actually have been posting a couple shorts on YouTube as well. So you could just find that by clicking our account and hitting videos. So nice and easy for you guys on YouTube. Shall we get
Oh
into it?
yes. Let's get into it. You got some news for us,
We
don't
do
you,
we
Freeman?
do have some news. Tony Schiavone, I think it was, announced that Britt Baker is returning to Pittsburgh next week. So she will be on Dynamite. I don't know what's going to be in store for her on Dynamite. Maybe we see her, entering the Owen Hart Women's Invitational. But we'll have to wait
Yeah,
until
I
then to see.
think that's definitely inevitable. We were talking a little bit on the pre-show that we believe that Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker are probably going to be the ones far in the tournament, and that's going to be the spark to the feud that they're inevitably going to have.
Yeah. We also talked about how we think Serena Deeb is going to win that tournament. At least my pick.
Yep. Yeah, you think Serena Deeb. I
Yeah.
honestly am not too sure who's going to win this bad boy. The qualifiers aren't even done yet.
Yeah.
I want to see what the bracket looks like. But yeah,
sure.
once we get the bracket, we'll definitely have a little prediction video, wouldn't you say, Freeman?
100% we will.
Yeah. Yeah, so I
yeah.
definitely think that's in the future. We'll go through the men's and female bracket,
Yep.
and we'll kind of like do like a March Madness situation for it.
Yeah, I'm down. If you guys missed our AEW pre-show from yesterday, that will be in the top right of your screen right now. And let's get into it. So now, it's actually you. My bad.
Yeah, so the first match, per usual, is the CM Punk singles match. Tony Khan loves to start the shows with CM Punk, and this show was no different. We got CM Punk versus Penta Oscuro, formerly known as Penta El Zero Miedo, formerly my favorite wrestler before Bryan Danielson got going. I said I was on record to say that Penta was my favorite wrestler at one point. Yeah, he was my home screen for a minute. Yep. So the crowd was super hot. It's a CM Punk match, and we get dueling Cero Miedo and CM Punk chants from the crowd. While that's going on, we get shoves and chops dueling with the men in the ring, so that was kind of cool. Like chop, we get a CM Punk chant. Chop, we get a Cero Miedo chant. It was great. But yeah, after that settled down a little bit, we got some quick grappling from Punk, and he kind of maneuvered the fight to the corner. And we got a quick GTS attempt, and I love when wrestlers do this. It's your finisher is your most powerful move. You should be trying to hit it from the start of the match, right?
You should be. I mean, you should be wanting to end that match as quickly as possible. You would think.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that little touch from Punk.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that, Penta actually countered it with an ankle lock, but Punk gets to the ropes and wrestles him to the corner. But then Penta hits 2 sling blades in a row. Freeman, I know you love the sling blade from our WWE 2K. It is a really nice looking move. It really is.
Especially when Finn Balor does it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So after the sling blades, I noticed the crowd got even hotter than it was at the start of the match. The Tornado chants and CM Punk chants are getting louder at this point. They're having a great match, a great singles match. They're telling a great story. So then Punk hits a desperation tope suicida and he regains control on the outside, but then brings him back in the inside for 2.5 count. Penta really sold that tope. I like that. Penta asks Punk to kick him in the chest, and then Punk does that, and then hits a suplex, and then CM Punk wears on Penta's back with a stretch, kind of like I don't even know what you would call it. What'd you call it?
I called it I think I literally called it just a move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a move?
Yep.
That's fair. Okay. So yeah, I actually lost my spot.
And
they grapple. What's up?
I lost my spot as well.
So yeah, they kind of grapple to the corner again, and then they kind of are fighting on the outside, facing the turnbuckle. You're picking up what I'm following down?
Yep.
Or you're picking up what I'm putting down?
Yep.
And then somehow, I don't really know how they do that. Punk finds his way on the top turnbuckle. I don't really know how that happened.
Yeah.
And then kind of does this weird slip thing. And this is when I noticed that I think the wrestlers were lost, and that's kind of how I knew the slip was a mistake. Because while they were in the corner, there were some obvious shot calling between the two of them. It was right there. It was hard camera, you know what I mean, right in the face.
Yep.
The microphone was picking everything up. So that's, mistakes happen. Life goes on. So then Penta brings Punk up to the top turnbuckle, and they trade strikes. But then Punk hits an avalanche Hurricane Rana, which looked dope.
It did look dope.
And then Punk lifts him up for the GTS, but then Penta hits him with elbows and grabs Punk's arm, and CM Punk fights out of it and grabs the Anaconda Vice, and then Penta makes it to the ropes. Great sequence, fantastic wrestling. They trade blows on the apron, and they both try to hit their signatures on the apron. And then Punk hits a roundhouse kick into the ring. Penta falls inside of the ring and hits a springboard clothesline and a knee in the corner. GTS taunt, he did his little thing, and he tries to get it, but it gets caught by Penta, and Penta hits an insecurity and tries for the arm breaker, but gets reversed, and they trade pins. Punk then hits a super kick, which is illegal in Control Your Narrative, so, Punk can't wrestle and Control Your Narrative now. So he hits a super kick and then tries for a springboard. Oh, I'm sorry, Penta hits a super kick. I'm so sorry. Penta is not allowed in Control Your Narrative. Penta hits a super kick and tries for a springboard, but gets caught in the GTS 1, 2, 3.
Can we just talk about Control Your Narrative for a second? Because
yeah, let's just get right into that.
Because I don't know if you saw. I saw a tweet that I should have pulled the picture, but I didn't. But I saw a tweet from Braun Strowman, and he basically was like calling out Tony Khan for he one of them was he got mad at Tony Khan for like the bot thing. And then and then the other thing was basically like Tony Khan tweeted something out and Braun Strowman is really just mad at him because Braun Strowman was in talks with AEW, but he never signed with AEW. So Braun Strowman's just a little salty.
Braun Strowman's a weird guy.
He is a weird guy.
Yeah, exactly. He is, yeah. And Control Your Narrative is a weird company.
It is.
I was on my lunch break, actually, and I remember I pulled them up on YouTube, and it's literally just a blatant ripoff of Raw Underground. It's so strange, man.
But
have you ever seen any videotape of it, or any tape of it?
No.
No?
We might have to do a little review. We might have to do a little live review.
I don't think so. Maybe, you know what? If they ever crown a world champion with a world championship match, we'll cover that. Maybe, I promise.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. So what should you think of the match, though?
Someone. Maybe EC3 versus Braun Strowman. You want to see that?
No.
That was my point.
Yo, sorry to get off topic again, but Matt Sydal is actually in control of your narrative, bro.
No way.
I was so disappointed. Yeah, man.
Oh,
I was so disappointed.
So that's what it was. So another thing was Braun Strowman is like hates AEW because because I guess what happened with like Tony Khan and Braun Strowman. Now Tony Khan doesn't want to send AEW superstars to control your narrative. So I guess it's like a little back and forth kind of deal now.
Yeah, you know what? So maybe Matt Sydal isn't in control of your narrative anymore. But I just checked their website one day.
He might be.
I was surprised.
He probably went back there after he left AEW.
Matt Sydal?
Didn't they just announce that his contract wasn't going to get renewed?
I'm going to kill myself.
I swear it was Matt Sydal.
No.
It was not.
He's recovering from an injury.
Huh. So who was I thinking of then?
Figure that out. I'll talk about the Jericho thing. All right. So Chris Jericho, in his efforts to get as much TV time as possible, did this little pre-tape scene in the airport of, where were we? LA, so probably the LAX. And kind of like the airport takeoff area. I don't really know what you would call it. And he was saying how he thought it was funny how I'm sorry, that's what happened in my notes. Eddie Kingston's threat was on site, yet he hasn't even seen Eddie Kingston. And then just as he was finishing that sentence, Eddie Kingston pulls up with Santana and Ortiz in a car and throws out Matt Menard and Angelo Parker, and they took Angelo Parker's shoes and drove off. And that was that. Oh, I'm sorry. And then they tried to chase the car after that, which I think is hilarious always when people do that.
Yeah, because it's like you're not going to catch up to the car. Oh, it was
you're not going to.
It was Marco Stunt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Marco Stunt's very different from Matt Sydal.
He is. But you know, AEW is a big promotion. You know, I get some names mixed up.
Oh yeah, that's fair. For sure.
But yeah, a great segment there from JAS and Eddie Kingston and Pride and Powerful.
Yeah.
I really just it really was funny when he was like on point, and then they pulled up.
Yeah. It was literally. I mean, it was obviously scripted, but it was just very ironic how it turned out.
I also love the fact that they were actually they drove on the tarmac to do it, and it wasn't like Jericho like they were getting into like an Uber, like they were getting off the plane and they were on the tarmac.
They were just like they somehow meandered their way on.
They somehow jumped the fence with the barbed wire on it, and
yep, they figured out their way.
Honestly,
maybe they paid someone off.
Honestly, though, I would expect Eddie Kingston to be one of those people to hop a fence with barbed wire on it, like kind of like Jon Moxley. I 100% expect Eddie Kingston would jump over that. So I expect that is how Eddie Kingston was able to get in.
How did he get the car in?
He just opened the gate, bro. Once you're in, you can just go to the gate and
once you're in, you're in.
Yeah, once you're in, you're in.
All right,
you're good.
GTA style.
For real.
Yeah, dope. So next match was the reDragon versus Lucha Express match. Do you want to get into that?
Yes, sir. So we get Bobby Fish and Jungle Boy starting. Some nice drop kicks by Jungle Boy. He tags in Luchasaurus. He hit a nice big boot for a 2 count. Fish tags in O'Reilly. And then Fish hit not one, but 2 Dragon Screw suplexes on the outside. Fish throws Jungle Boy back into the ring for a 2 count. This was a weird spot to talk about how this was actually when Tony Schiavone mentioned Britt Baker was returning next week, and I just thought this was a very weird spot to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
this. I'm sorry. Can I just intervene really quick? Yeah. The Britt Baker announcement. I'm sorry. The Britt Baker announcement, the slot this match was in, and the time it got, all tells me everything I need to know about did I say Lucha Express earlier? I think I did. I meant Jurassic Express. Everything I need to know about Jurassic Express and how AEW views them at the moment, because this got less time than the tag match in the main event, and it went on second after a Punk match. I mean, how are you gonna have your tag team title match, your number one contender versus your champion match, go on second? I think that's very odd.
Yeah, I'm sure they. I mean, what they've been champions since September,
Hmm.
and I feel like they really haven't. And the problem is, they never had a chance to get plans for them really to be champions. I bet because, who knows if they were supposed to win that match with the Lucha Bros after Ray got hurt.
They weren't. Yeah.
So, like there was.
Well, actually, I can't say that for
Yeah,
certain.
yeah, but I mean, there was probably no plans for it if it wasn't.
Hmm.
So, but I mean, they should have
Hmm.
plans by now. I mean, they shouldn't. They
Yeah.
should. They should be in something right now, and they're really not
Hmm.
doing
And they're
anything.
they're in this little they're in this little scuffle with Adam Cole and reDragon. But that's just, I feel like it's been going on for so long. Like, come on, we got the best tag team division in the world. Like, let's get this rolling. Let's
Yeah,
get some new challengers.
like I mean, Mox and Brian are about to be creeping up there, and they're coming for that title.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, by the way, I think that's what happens here. I think Mox and Brian are the next people to win the tag team
Whoa.
championships.
Now, are Mox and Brian even an actual tag team? Because now they got Yuta, and the three of them got a match on Rampage.
Um,
When's the next time? I will be very curious to see what happens with the three of them. I'm not sure if they're going to be going the tag team route anymore.
I think they still will be, just for the fact
Yeah.
that Wheeler Yuta is the champion of Ring of Honor's Pure Wrestling Championship.
Oh.
So I
And all
think
three of them will have gold.
exactly, and then I think after that,
Hmm.
if by that point, if the trio champions are still there, maybe we see them double
Yep.
up.
Yep. Yep. 100%. And that's the beauty of AEW. We're constantly talking about double champions, triple champions. We talked about Samoa Joe on the pre-show. Like, I feel like they got so many stars who can believably carry multiple belts, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, totally. And I, I do think Samoa Joe's gonna be. I tell you what, Saman Singh's definitely not winning the championship, so.
No, no,
we'll get into
no.
that later, but
Hmm.
so to continue here, Luchasaurus tags in Jungle Boy. He hits a clothesline on Kyle O'Reilly and then hits two tope suicidas. Went for a third, but then reDragon scurried away. Jungle Boy hit some type of like a suicide dive on the outside. Fish tied up Jungle Boy. Fish. Actually, Kyle O'Reilly took advantage of Jungle Boy when the ref was distracted. We cut to a commercial break. Kyle O'Reilly locked in his cross arm breaker, and that move just looks so nice in my opinion.
Oh
Just
yeah,
a nice submission move.
It is, and they worked the arm the entire match, and that's how it was very obvious that was their finishing route. And that's how they wanted to end it.
Yep, you were right. Then Fish actually hits Luchasaurus with an Avalanche Falcon's arrow over. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed something. So Jurassic Express hit a nice double team move on Fish actually, and then Fish managed to kick it out at 2. Kyle O'Reilly tags himself in, hits a butterfly suplex for a 2 count, and then Kyle O'Reilly locks in the cross arm breaker. He made it to the ropes, and then Kyle O'Reilly hit a move called I'm gonna say this wrong, but I think it was called like Gwinanton or something like that.
Yeah.
But then Fish hit a Avalanche Falcon's arrow, and it was like as Kyle O'Reilly had Luchasaurus in it looked like a guillotine.
It was.
And Fish hit an Avalanche Falcon's arrow on Jungle Boy and they had to like jump over Lucha, and Fish went for the pin, and Lucha kind of just fell over because he was like passing out. He fell over onto Fish to break up the pin. Really nice spot there. It looked great.
Yeah, it did.
Then Kyle O'Reilly, and we get a Kyle O'Reilly and Luchasaurus back and forth. Jungle Boy was hitting super kicks in this match like it was nothing, bro. And they were good, bro.
He was laying them out.
And they were good. Kyle O'Reilly
Jungle Boy's a star.
What?
Jungle Boy's an absolute star.
Yeah, he is an absolute star. I cannot wait to see his single career start. Kyle O'Reilly hits a DDT on Jungle Boy. So Jungle Boy or Jurassic Express hits a tail whip, and then I don't know what their tag team finisher is called. I couldn't catch the name, but
Jurassic Expresses.
Yeah,
it's Jurassic Express.
Oh, okay. So they hit Jurassic Express on Fish for the win. After the match, Kyle O'Reilly hit Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with a chair, and then FTR walked out, hold up their belts. They're all four of them. And then Fish and Dax kind of got into it, shoving each other around a little bit. So perhaps this is... So obviously, in my opinion, obviously Dax and Cash, they weren't really interested here in the Undisputed Elite. They're more interested in trying to get that third belt.
Yep. Excalibur mentioned that they had the double crown, that being the AAA championships and the Ring of Honor championships, and the triple crown obviously is the AEW championship. And that'll be a good match. FTR can put on a good match with a punching bag. So there you go.
I think I tell you what, you can't have FTR lose that match. You just got to give them the belt.
That is the thing. That is the thing.
Dude, FTR is so hot right now, bro. They've been putting on bangers after bangers. Just give them another belt at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I'm ready to see Jungle Boy start a singles career as well. I know that Luchasaurus isn't the youngest guy in the world. I know he's not old, but he can use some time off. Give him some time off. Give Jungle Boy some shines. Give him some singles matches. You know what I mean? He's young. He can still go. He'll be able to go until he's hurt. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need time off like that. But yeah, I'm ready for FTR to be the Triple Crown champions. I'm ready for Jungle Boy to start a single career. Maybe get a TNT championship. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I think Jungle Boy is gonna be amazing singles wrestler. And I thought they were gonna break up Jurassic Express back when they won the championship.
Really?
I think I had thoughts about them breaking up all the way back then, but obviously then they became champions, and that stuff happens. Plans change.
Yep.
But I guess I do envision here. Maybe they go their separate ways after losing this. But the only thing with that is, or maybe you pair like Luchasaurus up with somebody like Wardlow. Just because Wardlow I take that back. You don't want to pair Wardlow up with anyone because he's just been stuck with MJF. So
yeah,
you 100%. Want maybe you turn Luchasaurus heel. I don't know. Have him be like a raging dinosaur. Yeah. I don't know, but
he is the hottest hot tag in the division. When he's tagged, the crowd explodes, bro. So I think just pair him up with somebody else. Keep him in the division. He's great as a tag team wrestler.
Yeah. And you know what's a great thing? You mentioned this, and this is the AEW tag team division is so stacked right now. We have 7 or 8 really good solid teams that any one of them could be champions right now. So like you said, if you want to give them their time off, give them their time off. Give Jungle Boy a little singles career maybe. Have him win the TNT championship maybe. But yeah, I mean, if not, it's not the end of the world. Like Jurassic Express is a great tag team, so I'm not going to be complaining.
Yeah.
But that's just what we think.
Yeah, that's just what we think. And it's great to switch it up. Like the face and the heel champions, and Jurassic Express kind of went through all the heels, potentially, other than Mox and Danielson or FTR, or if you even want to call FTR the heels. They'll probably have to figure out a way to play the heels in their match together, but that's another conversation. But yeah, they face everybody they need to face. It's better to give the championship belts to a heel.
Yeah, 100%. I think it is definitely about that time. Almost as like it's like some people think it's about time to give the AEW World Heavyweight Championship to a heel too. Um,
Yeah.
but we'll see. That's coming up on Friday. So after that show, by the way, it's at 7 p.m. on Friday, so don't miss
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yep,
I
new
didn't
start
know that.
time.
Okay.
And so it's gonna be from 7 to 8. So I was gonna say we could go live, but we're actually gonna be live on Sunday. We'll be live on
Hmm.
Sunday night talking about Rampage and any other news that breaks. We'll be doing that on our Sunday show.
And also Battle of the Belts, right?
Yep, we got Battle of the Belts on Saturday. So that will be
Hmm.
our Rampage Battle of the Belts, and then any other news stories that will be Sunday. So we're gonna have a big
Hmm.
show on Sunday.
Yep.
And yeah, just to continue here, after the Dax and Fish shoving each other, then we cut to a Blackpool Combat Club promo. Uh, and William Regal asked, I forget who the interviewer was, but William Regal asked them, "Why do you think we're fired up?" And basically, Daniel Bryan said, talking about Wheeler Yuta here, he said, "He bled with Mox, he spit on me, and we're ready to fight with him. Or we're ready to fight with Yuta." And Moxley says, "We are going to break their face." And then,
Wait, Freeman, can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay. I just Discord played a weird noise in my headphones, so just making sure.
Oh, gotcha. And then Yuta says, oh, it must have been Tony Schiavone, because Wheeler said, "Tony, on Friday, real work breaks."
Oh
So,
yes, and that is in reference to the Gun Club and Billy Gunn. I don't know if he's actually part of the Gun Club. He's kind of like in it. He's like their mouthpiece, I guess. But he can still work.
yeah.
Anyways, it's the Gun
Um,
Club versus Blackpool Combat Club
yeah,
on Rampage.
obviously Blackpool Combat Club is going to wipe the floor.
Oh yes, oh yes. Gun Club hasn't gotten an important win yet. They kind of had a weird route to the top because, well, the mid card, I'd say.
I was going to say,
So they got like a 40-0 record on Dark as a tag team, but the second they go on Dynamite and Rampage, they just lose every single match that they're in. It's like, why would you just bring them up if we're just perceiving them as these jobbers, essentially?
yeah, I see what you're saying there. Especially since like we've seen them in I don't even know you the match where like they come out at a distinct time. I think it was that Revolution, but
Hmm. It was the week. It was the go home show.
the go
Yeah.
home show, and they got buried in that match. They only lasted like a minute.
Hmm.
On Rampage, I've seen them like I've seen them put on a 15-minute match with, I want to say it was the Young Bucks. But I mean, just haven't really felt important to me. I mean, they're definitely last in the tag team
No.
division in my book.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for Danhausen calling them the ass boys, nobody would give a hell, a shit, a fuck about the Gun Club.
I don't.
No. They just
Uh,
like to chant ass boys.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't even care about. I never even cared about Billy Gunn to begin with. So
I know.
that might have been too far.
Bulldog Billy Gunn.
You, you didn't know?
Exactly, bro.
So after the BCC promo, we get Hayter and Storm promo, and Jamie Hayter said, "I want this match more than you, because we have a lot of similarities." It's gonna be my crowning moment in AEW. I'm gonna win and I'm gonna win. And then Storm just was keeping her mouth shut. And then Hater said, "What's the matter? Cat's got your tongue." And Storm just looked at Hater and just walked away.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like a complainer because it seems like every segment I have something to say. But this one, I mean it. Like, we are trying to get to know Toni Storm at this point, right? She's had like 3 matches, maybe 2 matches on television, and like 4 promos. We don't know anything about her yet, right? We can't have her be like, "Oh, I'm above this." No, she needs to use this TV time to let us know who she is, what her character is. She can't be. I mean, obviously, she was probably told to do this because this is bold ass move to use your TV time to say nothing, literally nothing.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. She definitely was told to say this, and maybe Tony Khan's
or to not say it.
to not say it. I guess Tony Khan's thought process maybe was that keeping her silent, makes her like look tougher. I guess like that was the first thought that I got from watching that yesterday. But at the same time, like you said, I think we seen her last week, right, or 2 weeks ago. When did we get, I mean, we've only had Toni Storm for a couple of weeks, is my point.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we really don't know, like Charlie was saying, we really don't know anything about Toni Storm. So it would be nice to give the audience a little bit more background information about Toni Storm, so that the audience has something to care about Toni Storm. Like
100%.
You got to give a reason to people to care.
Yeah. Right now, yeah. There's 100%. I agree with you.
So I'm gonna make one.
I would have really liked.
Oh, you can go.
Nope.
No, I was gonna change the subject, so you can go.
Okay. Yeah. I just like following up with what Freeman said. I truly would have liked to see more from Toni Storm here. Like I know she's going to be in a tournament and that results in TV time, but like, give us a reason to buy into the tournament, right? Like, and feuds in a tournament are weird, kind of a side note, because that just means that fuck shit's gonna happen inevitably in the tournament. Are you following me there? Like, somebody's gonna interfere with somebody.
And
Ring of Honor does in the championships. They say, "Oh, you can take it."
Just to kind of butt in there for a second.
Hello?
Hello. Your mic is kind of being really weird. You're like but you keep like lagging.
Okay.
I can hear you fine, but like your mic, try leaving the call and then joining back. But so kind of like he was saying though, is how are you gonna you got to give us a reason to care about Toni Storm. Right now, like we were kind of just talking about, like Toni Storm has been in this company for a couple weeks, and put her, give some reason to that why your audience should care about Toni Storm. And I don't know, you can take it home now.
Yeah, how do I sound?
You sound good. You look good now. Before I couldn't even.
Perfect.
Like you were like frozen. So.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, let's just move on. I feel like we've crapped on this segment long enough.
Yeah.
So we got MJF versus Shawn Dean, and this I wouldn't even call. I mean, it was technically a wrestling match, but this is more of an angle, I'd say, than a match. So there were Wardlow signs everywhere, as we have said for the past weeks. Can you not hear me?
No, I can hear you. I was just before you start, I was just gonna say that we talked about this on our pre-show match, and what did we say, Charlie? We said somebody was gonna interfere, and what happened? Someone interfered. We need to cut.
Yeah, I literally said verbatim. That it was going to be an MJF squash match, or it was going to be a Shawn Dean roll-up, and what do you know? It was a Shawn Dean... Oh, wait, no, it wasn't a roll-up. It was a count-out.
It was a count-out.
So I was wrong.
You were wrong.
I was wrong.
But I was right in saying that Wardlow was going to interfere.
Yeah, Well, there you go. So yeah, there's Wardlow signs everywhere, and MJF and Shawn Spears both look petrified. They're like looking behind their shoulder. They're just awaiting Wardlow, and MJF kind of tricks Shawn Dean by taking off his jacket and being like, "My jacket doesn't work." And then when Shawn Dean kind of gets closer, he pounces on him, and then instantly takes off the jacket like nothing was. This is when the camera cut to dead security guards, like on the floor, and the Wardlow chants start, and MJF kind of takes the fight to the outside and throws Shawn Dean into the barricade. He's just trying to drag it out, like, make this last slide, throws him into a barricade, then immediately throws him back in. And the MJF kind of like taunts against the barricade, so his back is facing the crowd, and he thinks the cheers are for him, but actually Wardlow is behind his shoulder, and he gets absolutely petrified. Can you still hear me fine?
Yep.
All right. And he thinks the cheers are for him, and Wardlow chases MJF. Shawn Spears tries to hit Wardlow with the chair, but Wardlow no-sells it. And the crowd starts to chant, "You fucked up," which I thought was hilarious. And the camera or the audio did not cut it out at all. It was loud and clear. But then the security comes and eventually overwhelms him. And MJF says he'll pay the ref triple whatever AEW pays him to not count him out, but he does it anyways. So Shawn Dean wins by count out, and MJF is pissed. And then the camera cuts back to the back, and Wardlow says he won't stop until he gets his hands on MJF, and then he throws the camera on the ground, and the camera cuts. And I just want to say that things like this are what make AEW wonderful. This got every single person involved over. It got MJF over as a shitty heel, like a great heel, but like a shitty person, great heel. Shawn Dean over as a comeback victory babyface, right? The ref got over because he doesn't take shit from anybody and he's by the book. Shawn Spears got over as a cocky, overconfident heel, and Wardlow looks like a beast. Every single person involved in this angle got over. Perfectly done, Tony Khan. I applaud you.
Yeah, this was a great moment. Especially when just that look on MJF's face when I mean, obviously we saw it before MJF, but Wardlow was wearing an AEW hat and an AEW security shirt, so I thought that was a really nice touch. But and something else happens later in the night with MJF that we'll touch on later. And then we can wrap like this whole thing up.
Yeah, for sure. And can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect. Just making sure. So after this match, we had two pre-tapes. The first one was Darby Allin. He's like skating the streets of LA, and he doesn't say much. He basically just says, "Let's put a nail in this Andrade coffin match." And so next Wednesday, we're gonna get Darby Allin versus Andrade in a coffin match. No disqualifications. That means no shenanigans, right? That means this should be the end of the feud, right? Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, you hope so, man. You hope so. I'm tired of seeing them with like just everything with the Andrade family office. I'm tired of seeing them in tag teams with the Hardys versus Butcher and Blade.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can get Darby Allin on to something a little bit more meaningful. You kind of want to try to elevate Darby Allin here, but we'll see. He's on the. He needs to kind of be like MJF in my book, but as a babyface. He needs to be the Randy Orton to MJF, or I guess it would be. He needs to be the John Cena to MJF's Randy Orton.
Yes. Those two should be constantly combating each other like Beyblades.
Yeah.
They'll touch, they'll break off for a little bit, they'll hit, they'll
Yep.
break off for a little bit. What they don't want to do, and this was what they did with the John Cena Randy Orton feud, is have it constant, every single 4 weeks title match. Bam, bam. We don't need that. Give us it like every 9 months or so.
Yeah.
Give us Darby Allin versus MJF, but make it make sense. But give us Darby Allin versus MJF.
Yeah, like once or twice a year.
Yeah, I would be a very happy man
Yeah.
if they gave us that twice a year. But yeah, after that, there was a Malachi Black pre-tape, and this was just standard Malachi Black. He's just speaking his nonsense hymns, and it looks like he's about to feud with Fuego. I think he's above this, but I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, Fuego definitely hasn't been doing anything on AEW television since he got a contract. So
Well, he kind of got that babyface almost came back victory against the House of Black a few weeks ago.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we haven't had anything since he was signed since then.
Okay, yeah.
But so I mean, have him do. You're paying him, so you got to find something for him to do. So why can't it be Darby, or not Darby?
Yeah.
Malachi.
I know what you mean.
So
For sure.
but I love. We were talking about Malachi, right?
Yeah, we were talking about Malachi.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah.
But I love these promos by Malachi.
Yeah, you definitely have to watch him a few times to kind of understand what he's saying. But yeah, he's definitely a wordsmith, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, that's just because he likes to be poetic when he talks. That's just how I think. That's just how he kind of did the same thing in NXT and WWE. That's just it's probably just his version of telling the story.
Okay.
Which I know that, but. So now we get the Jericho Appreciation Society versus Kingston and Pride and Powerful. So one comment here before we start off here is me and Charlie, we talked about this on the pre-show, and I think we even talked about it last week on Dynamite, and they need to switch Judas. Take Judas out of there, man.
Yeah.
I get it because like the crowd loves it, but that you can't have a crowd singing along to a heel, man. It just does not work.
No, you can't unless it's the Kurt Angle's "You Suck."
Yeah,
no,
100%. Like you can't be doing that. The crowd is literally singing every word to Judas. And JAS keeps like mentioning it, but it's like just stop using the song.
Just stop using the song. Like, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard. And I would very much like it if Tony Khan would take Judas off of Chris Jericho. I mean, give him another Fozzy song if you want, sure, but just don't let it be.
Yeah.
Funny enough is I was listening to a podcast. I'm going to go a little off topic here, but I was listening to a little podcast with Jericho. I think it was on Talk with Jericho. And AEW has to pay Jericho's record studio for Judas.
Yeah, so if that's why they're keeping it, just pay him the same amount of money, just change it. But just change it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and that could be why, I guess. Maybe they have it. Maybe they have it like locked in and do a deal or something.
Yeah.
Who knows
what
kind of who knows what kind of deal those look like? So.
For sure.
But Santana takes it to Jericho in the corner. He hits Jericho with a couple kicks to the midsection, chops back and forth. Santana and Kingston then start teeing off on each other. Santana and Kingston were teeing off, and then Garcia and Hager were teeing off. Jericho was then running from Ortiz. In the ring, Santana knocked Jericho down. You see Eddie biting Daniel Garcia, his ear. He's being it's channeling his inner Mike Tyson. He tags in Santana, but all three of them then team up on Chris Jericho. Eddie takes out Garcia on the outside. Something I want to mention here is during the match, you saw either Eddie and Ortiz running over and taking out JHS on the ropes, or you saw Eddie and Santana going over and taking out JAS on the ropes. Anyone that was outside was always doing something to those other two guys on the outside. And
And that's how it should be.
and I like that touch because if you're dealing with person A on the outside, you can't break up that pin or submission on the inside. So I really do like that touch. I don't like people just standing there like looking like idiots on the ring apron.
Yeah, especially if your guy is winning in there. If your guy's losing in there, you might want to stay back to be there for the tag when he's ready. But if your guy's winning in there, go take out the other guys in case your guy hits his big move, his finisher.
Which but I do want to mention that thing I just was talking about is I think in the Hobbs and Starks versus Lee and Strickland match, there was a moment in there, I could be wrong, but it was one match on the show where somebody was looking at another person in an arm breaker and they were just standing. It might have been Luchasaurus. It's Luchasaurus and I don't know. It was either one of the tag matches, but somebody was staring at somebody getting an arm breaker done to him, and instead,
it was probably Luchasaurus
and he was just standing there, and like he wasn't breaking up the submission. He was just on the apron.
Yeah, we don't like to see that. That's terrible, and that's why it's tough for tag team wrestlers to have submissions. When you really think about it, there's not any tag team wrestlers that have submissions because submissions take time, right?
Yeah.
They usually have bump finishes that can just take a moment. You can hit it on anybody at any time. Finish the match 1, 2, 3, nice and quick. So that's very odd now that I'm thinking about it. But AEW smart, Tony Khan is smart. They'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah, totally. So continuing on here, Jericho tags in Hager, and together they flatten Santana. Hager then clothesline to Ortiz. We cut to commercial. After the break, Ortiz gets hit with a drop kick by Jericho. Jericho flips Eddie and Santana off. Jericho went to a springboard. Jericho then tags in Daniel Garcia. Ortiz tagged in Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston suplexed Garcia. Eddie then tagged in Santana, and Santana paid tribute to Eddie Guerrero, hit the Three Amigos, and a frog splash for a 2 count on Garcia. Always a nice touch to include the late great Eddie Guerrero here.
Oh yeah, and they do it. I feel like almost every week at this point. Somebody's mentioning Eddie, and he should be mentioned every week.
He should be mentioned every week. I mean, Eddie Kingston's name is Eddie, so he is also mentioned in that front. I mean, they got the same Eddie chance,
Yep.
Santana then hits a leg drop. Eddie then tags out. Hager then hits a tope. No, Eddie must have hit a tope suicida on Hager. Do you have that in your notes? I misnoted it.
Let me see. Anybody hit a tope? Eddie Kingston hits Jake Hager with a tope, and Santana powerbombs Daniel Garcia and Tope's 2.0.
Perfect. And then it was Santana. Okay, so I always get Santana and Ortiz messed up, and I always get the Young Bucks messed up. But so Santana takes out the rest of JAS on the ramp. Eddie hits a nice exploder suplex. I love the exploder suplex. It's such a great move. On Garcia.
Yeah, it does. It always looks so good.
Yeah. Jericho hits Eddie Kingston with the bat, and I forget what the bat's name is, but Jericho's bat, and then Daniel Garcia then pins Eddie Kingston. After the match, JAS beat the three of them down 5-on-1 to Eddie Kingston. Jericho hits a Judas effect to Ortiz, and JAS stands tall in the ring. I was kind of hoping, Charlie, that somebody was going to go on clean here and we were going to get an end to this feud.
Yep, nope. Yeah, we're not getting that. It doesn't look like it at all.
So,
but just a little note. I loved seeing Chris Jericho make sure his boys are facing camera side. I don't know if you caught that at the end, but when they were celebrating, Chris Jericho's like turning everybody to face the camera. It was really cool to see. It was awesome. It's just goes to show the veteranship of Chris Jericho, and he's gonna be a great mentor for these guys.
Yeah, he will be. And I definitely think the kind of the direction we're heading is. I know I heard something about a blood and guts match in the summer, and I think that is the no number one. I think that is the right way to go in this feud is the blood and guts match. But I don't want to be waiting until the summer. We're in April. I mean, if we're waiting until the summer,
What is a blood and guts? Oh, a blood and gut. That's what they call that. So it's basically just war games
yeah, basically,
with weapons.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
But
I like it.
I do see that. I hope you do it like in the earlier part, maybe June, because I definitely don't want to see this match go this feud go another 3-4 months. I would rather see it like.
So, actually, Freeman,
What do you got for me?
last year, is there a date already in place for Blood and Guts in 2022?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, because this one, last year it was in May.
Yes. So I think they were talking about this year making it in the summer is what I heard.
Okay, so maybe it's early summer. That's still so much time of those. That's 10 wrestlers stuck in that feud right now. You're right. I don't know. They need to handle this now. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully.
Or maybe somebody should have won clean here, and they'll revisit it later on in the summer, maybe.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's what I think should have happened. Is I think Eddie Kingston and the Pride and Powerful should have just went over clean here, and you should have just went back to it at a later date. Because you can this is a feud. This is a feud that you can easily go back to, just because they're gonna have history at this point now. So.
Yeah, and it's Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston can get a feud hot within one promo.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It took literally one promo for Punk and Kingston to make everybody in the world care about that match.
Yeah, 100%. So next we get the MJF promo.
Yeah? Do you want me to take the reins on this, or is it all you?
No, I usually use like a highlighter color to like mark yours and mine, and I just highlighted it wrong.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, people forgot that I'm the Pinnacle, and people want to laugh, but I don't need sympathy because I have money. Mark Sterling came out and said MJF has the right to put Wardlow in a match. So legally, in Wardlow's contract, MJF put in that he has the right to put Wardlow in any match he wants. So, MJF then says, I know how to take care of a pig, a butcher. And then Butcher walks out, and you see MJF giving a whole lot of cash to Andrade to have Wardlow, to have the Butcher take out Wardlow. I think this is a nice touch to their feud here. It only adds a layer of caring. It's a nice touch that obviously we didn't think MJF was just gonna fight Wardlow right here. So obviously MJF is gonna hide behind a couple of guys. He's gonna probably pay off anyone and everybody he can until they all get beaten by Wardlow, and then so I mean I think this is a great way to continue the feud, and I love the segment.
Yeah, MJF Wardlow feels like main event type hype. You know what I mean? Everybody is talking about MJF Wardlow. When they eventually do meet, whatever card they're on, I would not be surprised if they headline that card. Especially, and we'll maybe get into this at a later date, if not tonight, probably on Sunday. Especially if MJF ends up winning that title. Bro. Could you imagine MJF versus Wardlow for the championship?
Yeah, I think that's a little I don't know. See, it's like hard to know what AEW is gonna do here, because if this is what I could see like inevitably, and I could see CM Punk, beating Hangman, and then in
Yeah.
Punk holds it for like a year,
Okay.
and then MJF beats CM Punk for the title, and then MJF holds it for like a year, and by that point, Wardlow would have like 2.5 years of building up, and then Wardlow's gonna be like unstoppable at this point. He's gonna be ready. He's gonna beat MJF for the title.
Yeah.
Bam.
As like a super monster baby face.
As a super monster babyface.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate that at all. Besides the part where Punk's champion for a year.
You don't want Punk
It's a
to be
little bit
champion
too
for a
long.
year?
Well, I think Punk deserves to be champion, but
Just not for a year?
not for a year and not now.
Okay.
Not right now.
Okay.
I think Hangman should go over Punk at whatever pay-per-view is next.
For sure. Though I think at Double or Nothing we might even be seeing a triple threat match between Page, Punk, and Cole.
I'm not in love with that. I think if Cole loses Friday, which he might, I don't know. I think it's about 70%. I'm 70% sure Hangman will win on Friday.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. About 70% Hangman will win.
It's possible. I would be shocked, but I wouldn't be like flabbergasted.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But yeah, so I just think when Cole loses on Friday, he should just kind of like go to the wayside, go do something else. Maybe wait for Kenny Omega to show up, do a feud with him, you know?
Yeah, and I know we were talking a couple weeks ago, I think. It might even have been Saturday. I'm getting my days mixed up now, but we were talking about how I thought personally, this might have been, this was when we were talking, we weren't even recording yet, but I thought that Kenny Omega was going to come back and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega were going to fight the Elite, okay, in the Undisputed Elite in a Blood and Guts match. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. So hold on. I don't think that's going to happen anymore because the fact that Kenny Omega has just came off of all of these injuries. You don't want to put Kenny Omega in this in a match like that, when he and himself has just gotten off of so many injuries. So that's why I don't think that's going to happen.
So I half agree with you, half disagree with you. I have to agree with you in the sense that you don't really want Kenny taking too many bumps. But let me give you this. He doesn't have to because it's a blood and guts match that's weapons. And he's not going to be you expect the highest of high flyers in any match of this type, whether it's like a Money in the Bank match, like a War Games match. You expect the high flyer to do a thing where they jump off the cage, flip a bunch of times, and then they fall in. Kenny doesn't have to be that guy. He doesn't have to take those big bumps. And fighting with weapons, when done properly, can actually be safer than actually wrestling with slams, just for the sense that they're not actually hitting each other, right? So, like, if I hit you with, like, a sledgehammer, I would rather take a fake sledgehammer shot than a German suplex right now. Did you be picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah, I do. I am definitely picking up what you're putting down. Wait, you're telling me that when you hit me with a sledgehammer, that's not real. It's fake.
So, well,
I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's like the example.
No, yeah,
yes,
I'm just kidding.
Of course.
But overall, I mean, dude, I just love what AEW is doing with MJF, man. I love the whole. I just love AEW, man. That is why we're doing this podcast, Charlie. Is because we love professional wrestling.
Yeah, and AEW provides the best professional wrestling that there is.
And that's just a fact. Point blank on God.
Period. All right, so speaking of great professional wrestling,
oh boy,
my lowest rated AEW match up to this point.
In
I
history.
rated it a 2, maybe history. Actually, probably not history. I'm sure there's worse. But we had Marina Shafir versus Sky Blue in an actual clusterfuck of a match. So first things first, Marina Shafir comes out, and her entrance music just puts me to sleep, bro. There's no treble. It's just strings, classical music, and it actually fits because Marina Shafir's wrestling put me to sleep as well. So it was like this nice little mesh. So there's absolutely nothing to talk about this match. Marina Shafir just threw her around like a rag doll. Actually, there is one thing to talk about in this match, but it has nothing to do with the actual match. Jade Cartgill was in the back watching the match on a teleprompter, and they pointed to the baddie section. In the baddie section were Career Hogan. Is that how you say it?
I believe so. And then Red Velvet was there, right?
Red Velvet, who are two baby faces.
Yeah.
They forgot that Jade Cartgill is a heel, bro. Why are they in the baddie section? They're good guys.
You know, I think it's more of just like Jade Cargill can put in whoever she wants in the baddie section. That's kind of the way I took it.
I took it as they forgot Red Velvet was a face.
Hey, they're both baddies, so they should be in the baddie section. So
they are baddies, but never mind. We'll move
on. But I was gonna ask
yeah,
I was gonna ask you how did you like that triangle choke after putting the Austin triangle choke? What did Charlie think about the triangle chokes?
So the triangle choke looked as good as a fake triangle choke should look. Well, so here's the thing. The triangle choke that we see in professional wrestling is like nothing. I'm not going to go into why because it'll just make me sound pretentious. Is different from the triangle choke that we see in professional wrestling just because the real world triangle choke just isn't really that exciting in all reality. So it was a good roll through triangle choke. It was very unique. She kind of picked her ankle. It was extremely sloppy, but if it was done correctly, it would have looked really cool.
Yeah, it definitely would have been, but it was. I mean, dude, this match was just so bad. Like, I don't even. By this point, I wasn't even thinking about like how good the match was. I'm just thinking about the fact that we have to watch this woman again, versus Jade Cargill. Like Tony Khan, I'm sorry. We do a lot of praising you on this show, and like this isn't like our one time we're gonna be negative. But you might as well just hand Marina. You might as well just fight. You might as well just give Marina her papers and just let her go because she ain't not worth anything, bro.
No, the crowd didn't give a single shit about her.
And that's what I was gonna mention too. We were talking about how the crowd was just so hot this entire night, and this crowd was hot that entire match, this entire night. Mm-hmm. I mean, but the second Marina Shafir walked out, that crowd was dead this whole segment.
Yeah. You could have heard a pin drop. There was nothing. Nobody knew who she was. Nobody gave a shit. Her look is boring. Her music is boring. Her wrestling style is boring.
Yeah.
Let's move on. I'm tired of talking about her.
Well, last thing I was gonna say was nobody cares about this. Nobody cares about the MMA fighters, transitioning to wrestling. The only people that have been good at it is one person, and that man is Brock Lesnar. Ronda Rousey was good her first time, but she ain't good now. Paige Van Zant. What has Paige Van Zant done in AEW? Nothing.
Exactly. And let me interject really quick. When you have an MMA fighter become a professional wrestler, they kind of kill the business in a way. Because you don't see them doing the same moves that they do in the cage. You see them doing these wrestling moves. So it kills the business. They're doing what the crowd expects. They're doing the opposite of what the crowd expects them to do. The crowd expects when an MMA fighter goes into a ring that they would use their MMA skills. But no, they wrestle. It makes no sense. And the reason it worked with Brock Lesnar was because he actually did real wrestling takedowns. The suplexes that he were doing were legit takedowns. And it was because he was so big and you can hit it on anybody that it worked. But when you have somebody like Ronda Rousey, who's just medium sized, somebody like Marina Shafir, who's just medium sized, who she won't be able to do the throw thing the way she won't be able to do her throw situation in a way and make it entertaining because it's just not what the crowd expects.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying on that point of view. But yeah, I would just definitely like to see something else worked with. I don't know who is training Marina, but I think her husband is actually a wrestler, so he's probably training Marina. But like, they got to figure something else out. Like, what's even Marina's gimmick?
Judo.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
That's
you got
it.
yeah, but you got to give us a reason, like kind of like what we were talking about with the I forget what match it was by this point, but like we were talking about with the
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm. You got to give us a reason to care.
Mm-hmm.
You know
that give us and Tony Nese.
And Tony
who,
Nese.
Thank God he's got Smart Mark as his mouthpiece now because Tony Nese didn't have a gimmick.
Yeah.
His gimmick was, I'm a good wrestler. Guess what? So was literally every single person on the roster.
Yep.
that works in WWE. It doesn't work in AEW.
Except Marina Shafir.
They got him a mouthpiece. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, let's finally move on from this terrible segment. So Hook's backstage with our new favorite, unnamed, backstage interviewer who will remain nameless because we still don't know her name. So Smart Mark interrupts Hook as soon as he's about to speak, and he's with Tony Nese, speak of the devil. Tony Nese says AEW doesn't want to interview people who worked for their spot, which makes no sense. AEW just interviews whoever's hot. So that came from literally nothing. But yeah, essentially what we got from this was we got Hook versus Tony Nese in the future. I think it might be next Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. And it should be a very telling match in regards to how good Hook can bump. Because Hook's not going to squash Tony Nese, right? They're going to have a wrestling match.
Yeah.
They're going to have a 10, 15-minute wrestling match. And it will be very telling to see where Hook's at with his progress, you know?
Yep.
Can he bump? Can he tell a story that's not I'm superior than you in every single facet, right?
I love
Can he
Hook,
actually Hook's the best. I really hope he does well. I really do.
Where's all the hookers in the chat?
Yeah, that's exactly. Where are all the hookers?
But
yeah.
So I wrote something down here that makes no sense to me.
Let me hear it.
Battle of the Belts, Mammy versus Sky. Is Sky Blue fighting somebody at Battle of the Belts?
No.
Okay, so I have no idea why that is in my notes.
All right. Do you want to get on the Keith Lee match?
Yep. So one thing I wanted to talk about before we even get into this match was tonight was the first time that I have seen two moves hit in midair. We saw
Really?
We saw a kick from, I want to say it was I think the super kick in midair from Jungle Boy, and then in this match, Ricky Starks speared Swerve. But we'll get into it. But
that was a dope spot.
First time with two in midair spots, and you know how
we should get a counter up in here.
We should. We can start that. We definitely could start that.
We should start that.
We can start that. But so anyway, to get on here, Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks started in the ring. He tags in Hobbs. Hobbs hits a fallaway slam on Strickland. Then Hobbs tags back in Starks. Lee gets tagged in, and Lee then tags back in Strickland. Lee hits a chop. Swerve pins Stark for a 1 count. It's looking like Charlie when I try to pin him in WWE 2K. Yep. Lee sent Hobbs outside Lee tags in Swerve, and then Swerve jumps off Keith Lee, like Keith Lee was on the ring apron, and Swerve used Keith Lee to propel him to take out Starks and Hobbs. Amazing little spot here, Charlie.
Yeah, it was really cool to see.
And then Swerve sent Starks back in Hobbs, and Hobbs takes out Swerve on the outside. After commercials, then we get Swerve tagging in Lee. Hobbs tags in Starks. Lee tosses Starks into the corner. Hobbs hits Lee from behind. Starks then hits Lee in the ring, and then Lee leapfrogs Hobbs here, and then Hobbs spears Starks. This just shows the athleticism of Keith Lee, and this is exactly what he was not able to show in WWE. So this is a great idea to, use that side of him that Keith Lee loves to use, but WWE, didn't let him. That's literally the reason why he's in AEW. So.
Yeah. Keith Lee looked great. All 4 men looked great in this match.
Yeah. Combo from Lee and Strickland. We get a 2 count. That was a nice combo, by the way. I really don't remember the combo. I just remember off the top of my head that it was a nice combo.
I think it was a drop kick and a forearm at the same time.
Yep. I think you're right. Swerve then sends Starks outside, and then he brings him back in. Swerve then takes out Swerve takes out Hobbs, and Ricky spears Swerve in midair, and then Ricky takes out Lee. Strickland kicked out of Starks' flipping DDT, and Lee tags himself in, and then they double team Starks, and then Hobbs saves the day. The ref kicks Hobbs out of the ring because Starks was the legal man. Starks then hits an enziguri and tags Hobbs in. And when he did this, Taz himself walked out. So you knew some F shit was going to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
So Swerve then sends Hobbs into the ring post. Lee spears Starks, and Swerve hits a 450 splash. Stark spears Lee, and then Swerve hits a 450 splash onto Stark, who I believe was Keith Lee was on top of. I think Keith Lee was on the bottom, and then it was Starks, and then Swerve did the 450 splash onto his back.
Yep.
And then Hobbs gets picked up by Lee. Then Taz grabs Keith Lee boot. And Hobbs, while Keith Lee was distracted, hits the spine buster on Lee for the win. After the match, Taz celebrates that with them in the ring. I'm not gonna, crap on this too much. I like how they made everybody look strong in this match. You didn't really necessarily want anyone to take a pin loss. So this is definitely a great move to have Taz interfere in this match, and it's definitely something we don't see all the time. How often do you see Taz interfering with a match?
Yeah, you never see it. And personally, I loved this match. I thought this was a great wrestling match, a great tag team match. I personally thought it was better than the title match. I know I texted you after this match happened, and you don't agree. But that's okay. I love this match. I watched it again at work today. I thought all 4 men looked great. The crowd was hot. It was Ricky Starks' hometown. So it was fun. Ricky Starks always gets a pop, right? But he got a big pop when he got tagged in the first time.
He did.
It was a fun match. It was a good match.
Yeah, I gave both the tag team matches 8s. Both of them.
Yep, I gave
good.
this an 8 and the other one a 7.
Fair enough. And then we get to the Thunder Rosa promo. Thunder Rosa said one word. And then you hear, "Excuse me." Can we stop with this, Charlie? Can we stop with Thunder Rosa not being able to say 2 sentences? She is your AEW Women's Champion. Mm-hmm. Treat her with some respect.
Yeah, 100%. She needs to get these promos out. She's the champion. We know what Nyla Rose is about, right? Yeah. I love Nyla Rose. I'm a huge Nyla Rose fan. But come on, we need to get some Thunder Rosa promo time here.
Yeah, so Nyla Rose interrupts obviously Thunder Rosa here, and she says, "We are celebrating tonight for beating the world's shortest title reign." And then Thunder Rosa throws cake. There was Nyla Rose brought in a cake, and Thunder Rosa just literally tossed it up onto Nyla's face. Thunder Rosa went to go throw Nyla into a crate, and Nyla countered it and kept throwing Thunder Rosa's head into the stage boxes, and then the refs had to come break it up. At this point,
Yep.
I just want to see the match.
Yeah.
The match is in 2 days, so I just want to see the match, and I know Thunder Rosa is going to win, and that's going to be the end of it.
Yep, I'm ready for the match to happen. Love Nyla Rose, hate Vicky Guerrero. I don't think she needs a mouthpiece anymore. I think she does great on the mic. I think she's hilarious on the mic. She had a great line tonight. It was, the cake would have had writing on it, but that costs extra, and you're not worth that much.
That was a great
That was
line.
hilarious.
Yep, great line.
That was so funny. And a few weeks ago, I had Nyla Rose as my promo of the night. I'm a huge Nyla Rose fan. I do not think she needs Vicky Guerrero anymore.
No, and like we said, Vicky Guerrero's always had go away heat. So just she needs to go away
not
for
heat,
good.
go away.
She needs to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Just retire. Go to an island somewhere and just never come back.
Yeah. Off our screen, please. All right, so let's get into the main event. We had Samoa Joe and Minoru Suzuki going at it for the Ring of Honor Television Championship. So first things first, we had Jay Lethal looking dapper as ever. In the crowd, he was chanting Joe with the crowd as Samoa Joe was coming out. Yeah.
I just want to button before you start this match. I was disappointed that this match did not get any extra time that Meltzer was going to say, that Meltzer said. But that kind of just the match was good, and obviously you're going to talk about it, but I guess I just wished it to go a little bit more than 12 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were going at a slow enough pace that they could have gone longer, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, so let's just get into the match here. It was a lot of the same thing at different areas of the ring, so just be warned. So they trade chops, hard chops. Instantly, both their reds start to bruise and blood vessels start to pop. But then Joe starts to exchange forearms, and then he goes back to the chops. And then they keep exchanging chops. They exchanged a shit ton of chops.
2 or 3 minutes worth.
Yeah, so long, so long.
Yeah.
Enough for me to be like Chuck Reddit and then go back and they were still chopping. Yep. So after the chops, they exchange forearms, and finally we get a wrestling move. Minoru Suzuki runs the ropes, and Joe hits him with the shoulder block. Minoru Suzuki kind of rolls to the apron and pulls out an armbar with the ropes. You know how he uses the ropes for leverage?
Yeah, dude, that armbar looks so sick from Suzuki.
It does, and it makes sense because the ropes he's putting pressure down, right, and the ropes are right here, so it makes sense. So yeah, after that they move to the outside, and I literally have it in my notes, and I said they move to the outside and keep exchanging blows. Because that's literally what they did the entire match, and they both mutually agreed to go to the inside, and Minoru Suzuki starts to work on Samoa Joe's arm, some grappling finally, and Samoa Joe reaches to the ropes with his foot, and Minoru Suzuki keeps working his arm after he breaks up the hold, but Joe's still standing at that point. He lets go of the submission, and they exchange headbutts, not chops, not forearms. They move to the headbutts because they're running out of ideas here. And Joe trips Minoru Suzuki and gets him in the crossface. And this is when Kiko pointed out a spider. She was kind of looking at it, swatting at something, and so I had to go over and kill the spider. But I'll just jump back into it when I just kept watching. Minoru Suzuki, can you still hear me?
I'm internally laughing.
So Minoru Suzuki tries to get the pile driver, which is what he used to finish Rhett Titus to win the championship. but Joe moves to the corner, and Samoa Joe puts Minoru Suzuki to the top rope. Minoru Suzuki tries for the armbar, but Joe hits a muscle buster for the win. This is when the controversy
So
starts. Go for it.
before that, I noticed that when Joe hits the muscle bustle now, he now puts his arm under his their neck
Yep.
to protect them.
hmm
So
He's like, no accidents are
yeah,
happening.
yeah. So I just like how Joe does that now. You know, like he takes that into account,
Yep.
and this is like this even frustrates me more, kind of, that we didn't see this move in WWE after it happened to Tyson Young. Because why can't
Tyson Kidd, yeah.
Tyson Kidd? I mean, because like at that rate, like the only person Joe is gonna hurt is himself. His arm
hmm
is like the only thing that's gonna happen is if anything, his arm's gonna break. Like nothing's gonna happen to the other person because his arm's there. So
Yeah.
I just think this is a much safer way to do this move, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And Joe's one of those guys who can believably have multiple finishers
Yeah.
because he's been around for so long, like Bryan Danielson. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like he's finished a lot of matches in a lot of different ways
Yep.
around his years. What was his finisher in WWE? I feel like it was just a sleeper hold, right?
Yeah, it was the Kofina clutch.
Okay, there you go. So there you go. There's another finisher that he can use. But yeah, after that, the lights go out, which they've been doing way too often lately, and a tall Indian man who's very nicely dressed um, is on my television screen. I don't know who this man
He is a
is. He
basketball
looks very.
player.
Yeah, did you know who he was?
No, I had to do a little research about him, and let me you keep talking for a second, and I'll pull out what
Yeah,
he played.
for sure. So then Tony Schiavone informs us that it is Satnam Singh. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Yep.
Sanam Singh, I think is his actual name.
Yep, Sanam Singh. I don't know what his they mentioned it. I forgot what his screen name is, but he's a basketball player, and I guess he's been training with Jay Lethal. So I know a lot of the internet crapping on this, and I'm definitely not thrilled with it. When the lights go out, it has to be a big deal. Much like when a wrestler hits his finisher, they have to finish it because you got to make it a big deal. So when the lights went out, I was expecting, I don't know, Cesaro, Bray Wyatt. Nope, we got this guy who nobody knows. He's never wrestled a match. And I don't want to say it, but he has the exact same, from what I've seen, moveset as Great Khali. And Great Khali wasn't a good worker, so I don't know why he's trying to replicate him.
I literally texted you that he is AEW's Great Khali. So I do have some information about this now. So after so this is reported by I think this was reported by Meltzer is where I saw this. It was that time of the all right. So he is a 7 foot tall. He is a 7'2" star. He got an NBA. He was drafted to the Dallas Mavericks in 2015, and then it says he got banned from basketball.
Oh my God, why?
A doping ban.
Oh
Um,
God.
so he said, and then he got drafted by the Dallas Mavericks. He was the 52nd player picked in the 2015 draft. He played NBA Summer League and G League at 290 for a few years, played in some other minor leagues, and now it says this has to do with AEW getting television in India. He will start training at the Nightmare Factory in Atlanta under QT Marshall and Cody Rhodes.
There you go. Okay, so that's a good group to work under.
Which
I don't have high hope.
That last sentence about Cody Rhodes is kind of interesting to me because Cody Rhodes is no longer there.
Well, you have to remember that the Nightmare Factory isn't associated with AEW. It's just a wrestling school.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. It's not like he's going to just abandon his
Yeah.
day job.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When he
Yep.
leaves AEW. So yeah, I can't imagine he can train there to the extent that he was, because WWE, you're on the road 200 days a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so it'll probably be QT training him. But QT's a good worker. You know, I like QT.
Which that brings me to a whole another point, which we don't even cover Cody Rhodes, but they need to do what AEW does, and they need to keep. They need to only bring Cody Rhodes back if it's like important. Only like they have to make it feel important, because I am gonna get bored of Cody Rhodes so fast on television if he's on my television
Yep.
every week.
Yeah, it's gonna lose the charm.
Yeah.
And you have the people who view WWE every week, but you also have people like me and people like Freeman who will only view WWE if you got something for us to watch.
Yeah.
And if Cody's there every single week, we're gonna stop watching real quick.
Yeah. Yep. But so I'll let you talk about what happened after the finale, about what happened after the match.
Yeah, so after the match, the lights caught out, and we met our new favorite wrestler. And he gets he lariats Samoa Joe and gets him in a cranium clutch. I don't even know what you would call it.
Yeah, that's what I would call it.
Yeah, so like the cranium clutch, and Joe passes out. And I guess that's the next match that we're gonna see is Samoa Joe versus Satnam Singh.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of wrestling abilities this man has, if he was just signed.
Yeah.
But hopefully he's been training at the Nightmare Factory for a while now. But
Yeah, because he's about to get in the ring with Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
He don't mess around.
He's gonna get he. I think I think Jay Lethal will obviously be trying to help him in the match.
Yeah.
But I think Joe is just gonna be a beast and do Joe things.
Yeah, 100%. And if you're a big guy and you're not the one dominating, you're gonna have to take some bumps. And big guys bumps hurt a lot more than small guys bumps.
Yeah.
That is for sure. If you're 7 foot tall, 300 pounds, your back bump's gonna hurt a lot more than if you're 6 foot, 180 pounds. You know what I mean?
Yep.
100. Yeah. So,
100%.
but that was the show. What would you give the show as an overall rating?
I think as an overall rating, I'm gonna give this show a 6.
I feel the exact same way. What was your match of the night?
My match of the night is gonna be I'm gonna do Suzuki versus Joe.
There you go. And mine is Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland versus Will Hobbs and Ricky Starks. What's your promo of the night?
My promo of the night has gotta be the MJ. Well, actually, I guess I'm gonna just say the Wardlow promo.
There you go. And mine is the Jericho Appreciation Society airplane scene. Freeman, it was a pleasure, brother. Great work.
It was a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for watching here, guys. Once again, this is Heel Turns and High Spots. Follow us on Twitter at HTurn and HSpots on Twitter. We also have TikTok, Heel Turns and High Spots over there as well. And as you can see on the screen here, you'll see both mine and Charlie's Twitter. And all that links will be down below in the description. So go check us out. Click that subscribe button. We will be live on Sunday, probably during the evening this week, because I'm going home for a couple of days. So stay tuned to our Twitter, and we will keep you guys up to date on when we are streaming on Sunday. And until then, stay safe and treat each other with respect. And
exactly.
And we'll see you next